Yo, yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Payoff Pitch presented by Fantasy Phenom. I'm Kyle. That's not Mike, that's Theo. But I don't have the capabilities of doing any of that fancy graphic design stuff. And I tried to write Theo's name over Mike, and it didn't work. So tonight, Theo is Mike, although not quite as cute.
I'm a 6, Mike is a 9.
I don't know if
Facts.
six might be pushing it.
5 and a quarter.
Is that your height or your rating?
Both.
Oh man. So life of a
So
tournament.
how about CJ Crone?
If you guys have been watching the show for a long time, you guys know I cannot fucking stand CJ Crone. Ever since that 15-inning game against the Toronto Blue Jays, where he had 7 at bats and 2 of them with the bases loaded and finished with 0 points, I have never played him once since then. And Theo knows my pain now.
I was winning a GPP. I bet $12. Was about to win 150 in there, 25 and a $10 GPP, 10 on a double up, and then 12 on 3 other double ups. And then CJ Crone want to come over like, hey, Alex Myers not pitching the best game of his life, so let me just add 2 more runs for no fucking reason. Fuck you, CJ Crone.
Oh man.
I'm gonna fly down to Sacramento. Me and Kyle are gonna link up. We're gonna fly down to Anaheim. We're gonna beat his ass. And I hope he's watching this.
Are you paying for my ticket?
Yeah, because you're broke.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it was. So the day started out amazing. I put $70 on the early, and I came away with $373. So awesome start to the day. At worst, I would have doubled my entire buy-in. I played $180, I think, today. So at worst, I doubled my buy-in, even if I lost everything in the main, which I did.
Because you suck.
Yeah, life of a tournament player. If you guys saw me on the lock show, I stacked Pirates. Fantastic stack. To add on to CJ Crone, fuck Starling Marte. That was my and I quote, spark plug for the Pirates today. And he was a fucking burnt out light bulb with I think he struck out 4 times, maybe 3. Regardless, he didn't do shit other than get on base in the first inning. So yeah, I didn't cash in the main. I was 5 points away from cashing, and I got to give this man his credit, Theo. I was on Zach Greinke for the longest time today, and I had a pair of Zach Greinke and Martin Perez. Martin Perez got absolutely fucking destroyed. And Josh in the chat, he says to me, he's like, yo, Kyle, I think you got to look at Garrett Cole. And I was like, all right, I'm going to look at him. And I was already on Pomeranz, right? He was my number 3 pitcher of the day. And I was like, I can get Cole and Pomeranz for the same exact pairing. I didn't have to change any of my bats as I could with Greinke and Perez. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go to Cole and Pomeranz. 50 points combined between the two. Great game. Gave me a shot at cashing in the main. Like I said, it put me 5 points away from the cash line. Unfortunately, still didn't cash, but still, I had a chance because of Mr. Dewey. So, but early
if I had no Gio, I probably would have played Cole too.
Yeah.
But I got fooled by Gio.
I got lucky, man, because I would have played Gio in every line I had he been on the DK slate, but he wasn't. So I got lucky there too. What else happened? Shout out to Brady again. Brady's second day in the Phenom, cashed for his second day in a row. So he's tearing shit up. I don't know. I'm trying to see if anyone else posted some winnings. Theo obviously finished nicely today. Upped his buy-in for the first time. I finally convinced him to up his buy-in a little bit, and he.
Well, let's tell the story behind that. So I was just losing today. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to just throw the rest of my money in the late and go over to DK tomorrow because I thought I was going to lose all my money again. And I was like, bam! I told Kyle right when the game started, I was like, watch. I'm going to go down to my last dollar and I'm going to win it all. And then I got some cash to play with tomorrow, and now I have to deposit on DK.
That happened to me. That happened to me, man. I was down to my last $80 on DraftKings, and in a dumb move on my part, I was like, "Fuck it, man! I'm going all in." So I spent $80 and I won 700 that night. And so, and then I pulled money out. I was like, I'm not doing this. So I pulled out money and I played with what I have left with. And luckily, like I said, won that extra 300 again today. So we're sitting good, ready to go tomorrow. 9 games total, 4-game early, 5-game main.
My kind of slates.
Your kind of slates. These your favorite?
Yes, I hate those 15 and 12 game slates.
Yeah, my favorite slates are actually 7-game slates, 7 and 8 games. I didn't
like late. You saw how I did on late. Those are my, even in NBA, baseball. It's my stuff. Small slates.
That's fair. Hold on, I lost your video. I got you back. Bam, there he is. All 5.
All the ugliness.
Yeah, all the ugliness that there is.
Follow me at Yanks fan 37.
You a Yankees fan today?
Nope. I'm gonna go see them get destroyed by the King tomorrow.
Bumgarner is pitching, but he's not facing the Yankees.
I was talking about Felix.
Oh, he's been dethroned quite a couple times.
I should have brought my K-towel onto the show.
Josh says Theo is Mike now. Mo would be so confused. We were literally just talking about that before the show. Shout out to you, Mo. I remember Mo came in one time and he's like, "Oh, what's up, Mike?"
Hi, Mo.
All right, so St. Louis, New York, man. Starting off the slate, Lance Lynn, Seth Lugo. Not looking to pitch either guy here, but am looking at some Cardinal bats tomorrow.
And I'm looking at some Mets because Lance Lynn is ass against lefties.
Yeah, so I personally like some Matt Carpenter, Tommy Pham. I still like Magneuris Sierra if he plays. He's still cheap on both sites. And then Paul DeJong continues to stay cheap. 3,700. He's creeping up there on DraftKings, but FanDuel he's still 28. I can get behind that. Yadier Molina might not play tomorrow. Day game after night game. You might see Eric Fryer, who is almost minimum salary. So if you want a punt option, that is a punt catcher. Oh yeah, Gorko as well. I don't know how I left him out. He's my third baseman.
Is it Gorko or Jerko? Because
I think it's Gyro.
Old dude on the Cardinals broadcast always calls him Jerko, and I was like, that's inappropriate. But I like Mets. Lance Lynn, you see, terrible against lefties. The Mets, it says they're home versus righties. What is it, 316 WOBA?
Yeah.
But Cardinals away is 319, but I found that more Mets hitters play better at home against righties than Cardinals players play on the road against righties. So I don't understand why. There must be like some players that have super ass WOBA to drag that down.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, the Cardinals do strike out more than the Mets do as a team. But I don't know.
Mets low key hot too right now. I feel like I haven't looked at the numbers.
Well, let's look. Let's look at their last 7. So you have the Mets right here in the top 10 in WOBA in the last 7, 344. Cardinals are at number 15 with a 310 WOBA. So 30-point difference.
See? Mets.
You're paying for the Mets, though. They are a little more expensive than the Cardinals. So it's a little harder to do with the pitchers that I'm looking at.
You gotta pay the price to win the money.
That's not always true. Sometimes you don't pay high price and you win money, like Jaime Garcia the other day.
There's always exceptions to the rule. Let's continue.
Arizona at Cincy. We both like a Cincinnati stack tomorrow. Taijuan Walker. I mean, nothing about Taijuan Walker really points to him being a blow-up option, right? Like, his numbers are not glaringly bad anywhere, but he's also not exceptionally good anywhere. And Cincinnati, here's what's tearing me right here. Cincinnati has been pretty bad over the last week or so, especially the last 3 days. They're actually the worst team in the league over the last 3 days if you value extreme recent performance. But granted, that also had to do with Robbie Ray and Zach Greinke. So buy into that how you will. I, however, absolutely love Luis Castillo. He's already pitched against his Diamondbacks team in Arizona, where he put up, if I'm not mistaken, 30 DraftKings points. And now he gets Arizona on the road, and road Arizona is what, Theo?
S.
So we're both on Luis Castillo heavy tomorrow. I think he allows you to get a higher priced pitcher like a
Jimmy Nelson.
Jimmer Nelson. Big time Timmy John, Jimmy Nelson.
So what about FanDuel? Would you play Jimmy Nelson or would you play Castillo and stack
heavy
the expensive bets?
Well, you know what? Nelson's only 93 on FanDuel and Castillo's 76. So you're looking at a 1,700 price difference. I don't know that that's drastic. You can punt one position and get the same bats. So I would play Nelson.
For me, I don't like to punt if I don't need to punt. Know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if I have two options and one's cheap and I don't have to punt, I'm gonna go there. That's just me. And I don't recommend it because it doesn't always work. But
nah, that's the risk we take as GPP players, though.
Yeah.
I mean, shit. I did it again today, right? John Gray on the early. Told you guys I was going back there to Coors again, and it worked. He was one of the better pitchers on that early slate just by default. I mean, it really wasn't a great option. I pitched James Paxton in Houston, right? Like, high risk and high reward. They go hand in hand, and sometimes high risk equals no reward, and sometimes it equals a lot of reward. So there's usually not
like if today if I would have combined my two main lineups into one and played Reds and Dodgers, even with Gio, I would have killed it. Cozart, Kike, and Taylor couldn't have Seager, so, but you know.
Wow.
Jesus.
Dude, on FanDuel, Jay Bruce is 2,400 tomorrow.
See? Mets.
That's too cheap. The whole Mets team is too cheap. Conforto's only 36. Duda's
against
34.
Lance Lynn?
Apparently, Lance Lynn is Clayton Kershaw now.
Well, looks like we're stacking Mets.
I didn't even catch the FanDuel pricing. Good look, Brush. So, now this I think is going to be a pitcher's duel. I want zero part of the bats here. Fuck you, Pittsburgh. I'm not stacking them again. Jimmy Nelson, I love tomorrow. Now, of course, because I like Jimmy Nelson, Pittsburgh's going to do me dirty and go off. So
they're not. Look at their team WOBA all the way down.
Sarcasm, Theo. I should have put that in blue text for you. I have Jimmy Nelson locked in. I love him. I've played him, I think, every slate for the last 5 slates now. I was a little late on the train. I missed him when he was, super, super cheap in the 7K range. But I'm fully aboard that train now, and I don't see myself getting off here in a pitcher's park. A lot to like here. Zach Davies just went and did his thing. I think Nelson has a ton more upside. And then I like Tyone against the K-Happy Brewers. Garrett Cole just had a fantastic game. Tyone, I think, is a better pitcher than Cole. So, and he does an amazing job of limiting fly balls in a pitcher's park.
I think the bad thing about being baseball fans for such a long time is we remember guys like Jimmy Nelson sucking ass. So when he has like 3 good starts in a row and at the beginning of the year, we're like, oh, it's just a fluke. He sucks. And then there's the guys that just come in and play baseball DFS because they're addicted after NBA. Nelson's had starts. I'm going to play him, and they're beating us.
Yeah. Right. Well, you know what? So this is funny. I got to give my props here to DJ Ev. You guys know him in the chat. He said one of the best things that he's done is he's never before the season watched or played DFS baseball, right? Never turned on a baseball game in his life. He doesn't know any of the players outside of the normal ones, right? You know, Mike Trout, Clayton Kershaw, etc., etc. And one thing that's helped him a ton is he looks at numbers and he doesn't know names. And so he looks at numbers as pure numbers, and he's just absolutely destroyed baseball this year.
That's what I try to do. I was like,
you got to remove.
So when you look at you want to, I try to look at it like a stock.
Yep.
Like, look at the number. Don't look at who it is.
Don't look at the company. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's true, man. It's inherent in us as humans to have bias, but if you can somehow remove it, it's a powerful tool, especially in a game of stats. So. But yeah, I think both pitchers are in play tomorrow. I tried to build a lineup stacking both these guys, Tyone and Nelson, but it's too difficult to get any stacks I like. So I went down from Tyone to Castillo. So I personally like the Nelson Castillo stack a little more than I like the Tyone Castillo stack. So that's kind of where I ended up. I think you're on the same, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I was just looking at Josh over in the chat bragging.
Josh has been on Nelson. He's right, man. He's been on Nelson for the longest time. Josh knows his pitchers. And then Boston, Toronto. As much as we hate stacking Boston on a 4-game slate, I would say they're in one of the better spots.
I mean,
Liriano's pretty bad.
When you have to play a Boston stack, you know the slate is low-key ugly.
Yeah.
But this game holds my secret gut play pitcher, Doug Fister.
You like Fist? Are you
DK second pitcher, Doug Fister. If you need to pay up on bats, I mean, look how good he is against righties. Toronto's going to roll out mostly righties.
Yeah, they have their switch hitters.
Suck. They suck on the road against righties. I just think it's a pure. Don't play him on FanDuel, but DK second pitcher in a GPP.
Okay.
I think it's worth a look.
Would you throw Fister over Castillo?
No.
Okay.
But if you needed the money,
you would do it?
Yeah.
Okay. And are you... I think, me personally, I have Boston as my second stack.
I'm still debating.
Where else would you go? Well, I guess
Reds.
This is a good spot right here. Who are your top 3 stacks on this slate?
Probably Reds, Boston, Mets.
Reds, Boston, Mets. Okay. I'm torn, man. You've kind of talked me onto the Mets a little bit. I was looking at St. Louis. I still think I may not end up with a full 4-man stack anywhere on this slate. This may be a slate where I go 3-3-2.
I might go 3-3-3.
3-3-3?
Somehow.
How's that work?
I said somehow.
Okay.
Maybe with Fister.
That works. But yeah, it is, man. I think you can look at two-mans everywhere here. Mets have 2-mans. I still like Carpenter Pham 2-man. I like Gorko. I like DeJong. So, and I love Sierra for the price savings. So there's places to go. I think you can go 2-man up and down the slate. And I don't know that tomorrow's a must-have 4-man stack. So
I love Sierra, by the way. Super cheap.
And he's hot.
Super awesome on the road.
He's Well, he's been hot since he came up too. Just overall.
Yeah.
All right, so on to the main slate. Only 5 games. Texas, Baltimore, wrapping up their series. Texas continued to do nothing today. Baltimore continued to explode. Do they get to Cole Hamels tomorrow, who's been pretty good over his last couple starts?
I think both teams do nothing tomorrow. But if anybody did, it would be Baltimore, just because I think, how many games is that in a row with double-digit runs? Is it just 2?
Let me check. Obviously today, yesterday, and the other day before they had 3.
Yeah. So I believe in Cole Hamels. Maybe it's the name recognition, because he hasn't been Cole Hamels so far this year, but I don't like any bats in this game, and I don't like either pitcher.
See, I
hate this game.
I'm more on Cole Hamels than you are, just from the standpoint of what Baltimore does strikeout-wise versus lefties. I know they're better at home than on the road. That's no surprise, but I just think Cole Hamels has enough of K upside for his price. Would I play him on FanDuel? Probably not. DK, where you need 2, I think he's an SP2 option. But I'm with you on the bats. I'm not touching a bat on either side here.
I'll play Texas when they go back home against a righty.
Yeah. They need to go back home, man. They need to go back home. Detroit and Kansas City. Detroit gets a lefty, but it is not nearly as bad as Jason Vargas, Travis Wood lefty, and there's no JD Martinez. So what are your thoughts on Detroit tomorrow? Do they get to Duffy? Does Duffy slow them down? Is either side worth playing?
I kind of like Cassie hitting 2. I like Upton, and obviously the punt god, James McCann.
James McCann is mad cheap.
I don't like Royals against Fulmer. It's pretty much, like, overall for the whole slate, I wouldn't touch any bats in this game either. But I think you could, if you had, like, absolutely had to, you could go to one of the pitchers.
I mean, James McCann is still cheap. 2,500, 23 on FanDuel. Jose Iglesias is cheap as well. Mikey Matuk is cheap-ish. So there's definitely places to go. Upton's 36 and 43. Casty, I believe, is 43 as well. Kinsler's price is steadily climbing. Obviously, this team's been hot. So I don't know that I necessarily want to attack Duffy, a guy that does a good job of limiting home runs, but we do know Texas hits lefties hard. So, again, not my favorite spot to stack for sure, but on a 5-game slate, you're going to have to get a little creative here and find a spot. And I'm with you, no Kansas City bats for me. Michael Fulmer is better on the road than he is at home, and Kansas City is a pretty pitcher-friendly park.
I think everybody should just start their lineups with a McCann punt and then move on to their 2 or 3 favorite stacks.
Okay. Speaking of favorite stacks, I think this will be the chalk stack of the day. I think it's a good chalk stack. Los Angeles has won 31 of 35 games. That's just fucking ridiculous. Do you remember, I was on the show last night, and Corey brought it up in the chat. Do you remember when the Dodgers a couple years ago got Adrian Gonzalez and Hanley Ramirez?
Yes.
And they went on that absolute tear the second half?
And they had Carl Crawford.
Yep. That's what this team feels like, man. That team was unstoppable that second half until they got to the playoffs and Kershaw remembered he's Kershaw, et cetera, et cetera. But
well, I think the difference with this team is they have more depth, so they can hit either handedness.
Yep.
They have more depth. They have more depth in the starting pitching, so they don't even need guys to go 6 innings. They just need them to go 5, and then they have better depth at the back end of the bullpen.
If they get Zach Britton or Brad Hand or any of those top relievers to go behind,
it's a wrap.
Yeah, Jesus, man, that's not fair.
They have. I was talking to somebody at work. I was like, because he's a Diamondbacks fan. And I was like, you guys are not catching the Dodgers because they legit have probably like 7 starters.
Yeah. I don't see.
And none of them are like ass. They're all average to awesome.
Yeah, I mean, Brandon McCarthy is arguably one of their worst pitchers, and he would probably be a 3rd or 4th starter. Maybe a 2nd starter on some of these pretty bad teams. So, you talk about their depth, absolutely.
He would be a number 2 in Seattle.
What, Felix would be 3?
Felix would be 1. God damn it.
So, Dodgers are expensive. Seager's $5K, Turner's $4.8. They're expensive on both sides. Seager's $4K on FanDuel, $3.8 for Justin Turner. Bellinger's $3.9 and $5.4. Chris Taylor $3.9, $4.8. Grandal is cheap-ish on FanDuel, $29. Puig is still $2,400. That's too cheap on FanDuel, but DraftKings, there's no salary relief here up and down this lineup. So if you play Dodgers and Mad Bum, you are going to have to find punt positions, which takes Theo back to obviously James McCann. It is a tough build on this main slate.
That's why I was throwing out, if you absolutely need to, you could play Michael Fulmer.
But he's more expensive. Oh, instead of Mad Bum.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love Dodgers lefties. Look at Mike Fulte. I don't know how to say his whole last name because it's like, yeah, that's long as hell. But all their power comes from the left side. He sucks against lefties. I'm not even looking at Turner or Puig. I'm just looking at lefties.
If you're on FanDuel, you got to look at Puig for $2,400 though.
I'm not. I'd rather go Young Jock.
It's $1,000 difference. That's not really comparable.
I would still go Young Jock. I don't like Puig.
I know you don't. He's hit righties better than lefties though. Obviously Fulte doesn't have those splits, but I'm just saying for that price on FanDuel, $2,400 is too cheap. So, yeah.
And I noticed a lot of people are like, well, this righty kills righties, and I'm like, okay, that's cool, but when the righty kills righties back, it kind of cancels each other out, so you don't really know which side has the advantage.
What about the fact that the Dodgers are the hottest team in like all of the earth?
I don't care.
Okay.
Anybody can go 0 for 4 any day.
This is facts. Are you looking at any Atlanta bats against Brandon McCarthy?
I haven't even looked at Atlanta. I actually like, if you're playing cash on DK, McCarthy's second pitcher. Kyle was making fun of me earlier, but
I don't see McCarthy with upside.
He's gonna go 5 innings, give up 1 to 0 runs.
His last 3 starts, his upside was 7 points.
Okay.
Where's the safety in that?
Not a negative.
Oh, so you're gonna pay 6.6 for a not negative? Get the fuck out of here.
Well, the pitcher that we were talking about playing as SP2 could end up with a negative.
This is true. Looking at Felix Hernandez. A little more expensive. He's $1,000 more. It's tough pickings on this slate, man, with pitching. I think you lock in Madison Bumgarner, and then your options are kind of Danny Duffy's a little more expensive, Cole Hamels.
Fulmer's expensive.
Felix is cheap-ish at 76. It's tough pickings, man. Chacin, but he's on the road, but he is in SF, so I mean you can look there. I don't know, but we'll get on the Giants in a minute. I'm not pitching Severino tomorrow.
I'm not. So I'm going to this game. So I love Felix with all my heart, but this might be a game stack. I feel like Seattle's the best at home against righties. Yankees, best against righties. their power bats completely cancels out how left field kills balls against righties because they have Sanchez, Judge, Holiday have so much power that they can launch it out of any stadium. I don't know.
Yankees have just been cold, man. Besides Bartolo Colon, they haven't done shit.
I thought that Cologne game before today's game played was gonna wake up those bats.
Nope.
But then I think Barrios puts them back to sleep. But Ho had a point that Judge is gonna be on day rest.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just don't. No bias, man. I really just don't know if Yankees are the stack tomorrow. They're cheap though. They are dirt cheap, man. Matt Holiday, 3,600 on DraftKings, 28 on FanDuel. Starlin Castro, 28, 3K. Ellsbury, 3K, 2.9. Didi,
that might be the stack to go with
Bumgarner.
The Dodgers.
Or, yeah, the Dodgers and Bumgarner. It very well could be, man. You talk about price.
Felix hasn't been pitching like Felix.
No, that's true. And you talk about price dynamics. They're too cheap for their upside. It's for sure.
It's going to basically be a Yankee home game. Just telling you now. Tons of Yankee fans in Seattle, just like Toronto fans for that series last month.
It's kind of the reason why the Sonics moved to Oklahoma City.
Because Yankee fans? Makes sense.
No, because Seattle doesn't have fans.
Only when they win championships.
When was the last time the Mariners won?
That's why then I'm the only fan.
Their
Facebook group has like 5 people in it.
Makes sense. You think you can stack against Severino? I'm not pitching him, but I don't find myself stacking against him.
Yes. Mariners hit the best against righties at home. I like Steger. He's only 38 on DK. I like Cano. I like Cruz. I want to see if Handiger can get it going again.
He hasn't even been in the lineup the last couple games.
Yeah, they took him out because they're trying to get him mentally back.
They've been putting Heredia in, yeah.
And then I like Segura, Gamble. This game's going to be lit. I can feel it. Just because I'm going to be there.
It's typically not the case, but... and then Madison Bumgarner, I don't care about the previous, people are going to bring up Bumgarner versus San Diego. He doesn't blow them away. Yeah. You guys know I don't buy into BVP or past stats. Pitchers change, teams change. In fact, this team is an entirely different team from the San Diego team he's ever faced before. Obviously, that first start in San Diego. But besides Will Myers and Eric Ibar, there are no Padres that were on this team that he faced more than a year ago. So I don't care about those past stats. Bumgarner, I think, is my lock tomorrow. I just don't know how I get away from that. And then with Chacin being so bad on the road, I really find myself looking at a Giants stack for the price. Hunter Pence is down to 2,600 on FanDuel. On DraftKings.
So I was talking to Kyle about my strategy of picking stacks. Then he comes through and he's like, "My stack is Giants." And I was like, "Bro, no, don't do that." I like Brandon Belt one-off. I actually like Denard Span too.
I do like Span. I
was going to play him
Belt
the other day, but I paid down for I paid up for some dumb reason for Corey Dickerson. He got me a 0, I think, yesterday. And Span hit a home run. I like Span and Belt. Crawford sucks.
Again, man, there's 0 that would tell you to play Giants tomorrow. I mean, they're ISO at home, 111 versus righties. They're WOBA 279, 6% home run per fly ball rate. Makes sense in this park. I just think if you want to fit Dodgers with Bumgarner tomorrow, you got to find some cheap plays, and I think your options are Tigers and Giants. And I don't know that I want to attack Duffy.
Now that you just looked at Yankees prices, would you
yeah.
rather have Yankees or Giants?
I mean, common knowledge would tell you Yankees, but that seemed I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I don't know. I haven't figured out exactly where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna try and make a Yankee stack in there, see what I can do. But I'd have to change my pitcher. I was looking at pitching Felix, so I'm gonna have to figure out the dynamics there.
I'm pitching Bumgarner just based on the fact that he gave up more than one run to the Padres, and he's probably pissed off.
Look at these K rates versus left-handed pitching. Besides Manuel Margot and Eric Ibar, no Padre has below a 26% K rate versus lefties. Will Myers 34%, Corey Spangenberg 47% K rate. Jabari Blash, we know he strikes out. He hit a home run off Bumgarner. Fuck him. Alan Cordova 26%. Austin Hedges won't be in the lineup. That'll be Luis Torrens, who is not good either. So, or Hector Sanchez, one of those two. But
he's ass too.
Well, he just hit a home run off Bumgarner last time too.
Still ass.
I agree. So I don't know, man. I'm torn. I think a Giants stack is interesting for the price tomorrow against Chassin, who's bad on the road. You talk about a guy that has enormous splits, right? His home road splits are probably the biggest in baseball. So I don't know. It's worth considering.
If they move Panic up to 2,
well, Eduardo Nunez might not play tomorrow.
Yeah, if they move Panic up to number 2 and do Span Panic Belt, then I'll look at it.
Okay, I'm with you. So, obviously, 3 pitchers we're looking at for the main: Madison Bumgarner, Cole Hamels, and Felix Hernandez, possibly. Michael Fulmer, obviously, is a pay-down relief from Bumgarner if you dare fade him. GPP worthy. Cash, I don't know that I fade Bumgarner. And then stacks we're looking at, obviously, Dodgers should be number 1. I think Detroit, it's got to get consideration. New York, yeah, for their price and their bin due. And then I'm still looking at the Giants. So.
I like Seattle, New York, Dodgers. And my pitchers are Bumgarner, Fulmer, Felix.
Okay. Cool.
Bet.
All right. Well, appreciate you guys tuning in as always. Just a friendly reminder one more time. Picked up the keys to the house today, and tomorrow begins demolition. So no lock show for the next 4 or 5 days. I'll try and have one Monday. Can't guarantee it. There will be night shows, and of course, lean on the guys in the chat. They will help you out. Shout out to all the guys that are helping me with the sheets while I'm not around. But best of luck. Make it a profitable next couple days. I'll see you guys back on the night shows as always, and I'll try and pop in on the chat when I can. So
I'll be going up to Seattle all day tomorrow, so for 3 hours, so you can catch me.
Yeah, hit Theo up on the chat. He'll answer any questions you guys got, and of course, you guys all got each other in the chat. Plenty of guys that win some nice money in there, so tag them, let them know, lean on each other, make it the best community. So have a wonderful night, guys, and we'll talk tomorrow.